It is just after 9 o'clock here in Dallas, and full-scale activity is resuming at the headquarters of the Dallas Police Department. Down there in this third-floor corridor, a crowd of cameramen, reporters, newsmen wait for a possible appearance of the man accused of killing President Kennedy and a Dallas police officer, Lee H. Oswald, 24 years old. Oswald himself is up on the 4th floor in the jail section of this building. Oswald is held without bond. He has spent the night under especially heavy guard. Details of the continuing investigation are largely secret at this time. Police have told us they have 15 to 25 witnesses in their case against Oswald. None of them, we are told, saw him pull the trigger of the rifle that killed the president. 3, according to police, saw him kill policeman Trippett. Here is Deputy Police Chief M.W. Stevenson. And Chief, what exactly is the status of the investigation at this moment?
The investigation at this time, of course, is in full force. And we are working all of the men we have around the clock and attempting to run down leads on it, obtain witnesses, get affidavits, and follow up all leads that we have.
Now, is this in the matter of securing additional evidence against Oswald, or possibly finding accomplices?
I would say it was primarily to follow through on information and evidence that we have obtained from witnesses, and information we've obtained from witnesses up to the present, and new witnesses. Any witness that we can find that might have the smallest information at all in regards to the case, we want to talk with him.
As we understand it, no one actually saw this man pull the trigger of the rifle that apparently killed the president. Is that correct?
That is correct up to this time in our investigation.
Now, what do you intend to do with Oswald himself?
Oswald was filed on, as you know, shortly before midnight for the murder of President Kennedy. He was arraigned before a magistrate and was placed in a cell on the 4th floor of our city hall, which is our jail. He will remain there until we have gone further with our investigation. I don't know just what time we will interrogate him further. Of course, that would be speculation. But what we do next in this case, as in all cases, depends on what we're doing now and how it turns out.
Does he continue to deny that he had any part in killing the president?
He did at the last time he was interrogated.
Now, what is your speculation as to what the motive may have been?
I try not to speculate on any crime. I don't think it pays to speculate on a crime.
Is there any feeling among the Dallas police force that this might have been avoided?
None that I know of. As far as being avoided, certainly you might say that it could have been avoided had you had someone in every window and every building. But the feeling among the Dallas Police Department, as it is with every other citizen in the country, is one of deep grief and deep regret.
Thank you very much, Chief M.W. Stevenson, Deputy Chief of the Dallas Police Department. That is the picture at this hour at Dallas Police Headquarters. This is Tom Pettit, NBC News in Dallas. Oswald has been held here under maximum security. There apparently have been some indications that his life might be endangered during this trip to the Dallas County Jail. Utmost security precautions have been taken. Here in the basement there are a number of vehicles, and all of those vehicles have been thoroughly searched. Dallas police officers with riot guns are at strategically placed locations. And Oswald will have to come down here from the 4th floor, which is where his jail cell has been located and where he has been held since Friday, except for periods of interrogation. He's expected down any moment. We don't know exactly what the timetable is now. He will be put in an automobile here in the basement of the Dallas Police Building. They will go up a ramp to Commerce Street, and the route to the Dallas County Jail is being kept secret. There are 3 normal routes. We are told that they will not take any of those. That then is the situation at this hour at Dallas Police Headquarters. 24-year-old Lee Oswald the man accused of assassinating President Kennedy, of killing a Dallas police officer, and of attempting to take the life of Texas Governor John Connally. Oswald will be transported soon to the Dallas County Jail. This is Tom Pettit, NBC News at Dallas Police Headquarters. Police officers have been marching up and down this entryway here with rifles in hand. These precautions have been taken because there has been some indication to Dallas police that there might be some effort to do something during the transfer of Lee Oswald to the Dallas County Jail. We have this additional information to pass along. The police here have announced that the rifle believed to be the death weapon in the assassination of President Kennedy has been returned to the city in the possession of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Dallas police expect to have that rifle back here at police headquarters as they continue their investigation, pulling together facts, pulling together further leads, pulling together further witnesses. That then, in brief, is the situation. We're waiting here in the basement with other reporters, cameramen, photographers, police, FBI agents for Lee Oswald, accused killer of President Kennedy, of a Dallas police officer, charged with the attempted murder of Texas Governor John Connally. He will be transferred very shortly from here to the Dallas County Jail. Now to Charles Murphy at the Dallas County Jail.
This is Charles Murphy in the Dallas County Jail in Dallas, Texas, where we, along with about 40 reporters and photographers, are awaiting the transfer of Lee Oswald, expected within the next few minutes. This jail is headed up by a wiry, tough Dallas County sheriff named Bill Decker. He's been sheriff of Dallas County for 15 years, a lawman for 40 years, an experienced hand at handling all types of criminals. Across the street from the jail, a large crowd has gathered on Dealey Plaza. Dealey Plaza is at the top of the crest of the hill, near where the president was shot. The crowd has its back to the scene of the assassination. The crowd is facing the entrance to the Dallas County Jail. We expect word momentarily on the transfer of Oswald to Dallas County. Charles Murphy reporting from inside the Dallas County Jail.
I think we ought to have it, Jim, as soon as they can get it to us. Put him on a standby of indeterminate length, will you? Let me have it. I want it.
Being let out by Captain Fritz. There is the prisoner.
There is Lee Oswald. He's been shot. He's been shot. Lee Oswald has been shot. There's a man with a gun. It's absolute panic. Absolute panic here in the basement of Dallas Police Headquarters. Detectives have their guns drawn. Oswald has been shot. There is no question about it. Oswald has been shot. Pandemonium has broken loose here in the basement of Dallas Police Headquarters. Now, whether the bullet literally hit Oswald or not, we are not absolutely positive. But there has been a gunshot. Oswald reached for his stomach, doubled up. It'll be impossible to determine whether he was hit or not. Did you see whether or not he was hit? He was hit, wasn't he?
He grabbed himself on the side and fell to the ground.
That was my
With a
understanding.
cry.
We were, what, 4 feet away from him?
I was 5 feet in front of him when they shot.
What is your name?
Frank Johnson.
And you're with?
UPI.
He did grab his stomach. I saw him
Yes,
grab
he did.
his stomach.
Right from the side.
Well, now, tell me your name.
Yeah, I'm Jeff Edwards from KHJ Radio in Los Angeles.
Now, how did you see it, Jeff?
I was standing over towards the left. Oswald came out. He had the same look on his face that he always does or has. Suddenly, what sounded like a loud firecracker rang out. He grabbed his side and he said, "Ow!" and fell to the ground.
Fell to the ground. And I saw the flash right on his black sweater. The flash. Oh yeah. The man had a hat, a dark hat, a brown suit. He was stocky and strong. Came to him and he put the gun right there. I saw the flash over the black sweater. Yeah, and the man stood like.
Where did you
Oh, he was right here. The man was right here. You probably had it on your TV camera. No, I saw a man there. I thought he was one of the detectives. Well, he was a stocky guy, well dressed, with a hat he had on.
Where did he go?
Brown hat up. I don't know. I think his coat was brown and his hat was
Where did
black.
he go, Pierre?
Well, he was here. He just shot there. He just put the gun there. I saw the flash on the black sweater. Oh yeah, right there. And the guy.
Point blank range.
Yeah, right here. I mean, I saw the flash on the black sweater. You know, that's what I remember. You know, the flash. The both were crouching. No, I saw him there. He was in the group of men right here.
Masquerading as one of us or what?
I thought he was one of the detectives. You know, he had a hat and stocky. He was well dressed. That's what I remember. Fast.
It is almost unbelievable. It's almost unbelievable. This is the back end of the ambulance.
If you can get back. If you can get back. As far as I know, no.
Do you have the man who fired?
We have a man, yes. I didn't hear you.
The back of the ambulance has been opened. Police and detectives are now standing cordoned off. Here comes a squad car. Here he comes. Here's Oswald again. He is now lying very pale on the stretcher. He's being put into the ambulance head first. There's a group of detectives around the rear end of the ambulance. Now they have the problem that the ambulance is blocked by the armored car out on Commerce Street. The armored car, which was to take Lee Oswald to Dallas County Jail, now is blocking the exit of the ambulance, which is to take him to a hospital. Captain, where will he be taken? Captain, where will he be taken?
I'm assuming Parkland Hospital.
Parkland Hospital, the irony of ironies, the place where President John F. Kennedy died. The armored car now has been cleared out of the entranceway. The ambulance is leaving Dallas Police Headquarters. Dallas police say they do have a man in custody. They believe he is the man who walked up to Lee Oswald at point-blank range and fired a revolver into his stomach. Oswald grabbed at his midsection, fell to the floor. Now you can see the pandemonium that once again has broken loose.
We got a man that I believe, I didn't see it. I think it's the man.
You got him? What's he look like?
I can't give you a description now. He is known locally.
He's known locally?
What's his name?
That was a captain of the Dallas Police saying the man that they are holding is known locally, a man wearing a black hat. This then is the situation at this hour at Dallas Police Headquarters, information as we can gather it. Lee Oswald is listed in critical condition in surgery at Parkland Hospital, where the man he is accused of assassinating, President John Kennedy, died. Police are holding a Dallas nightclub operator named Jack Ruby in connection with the shooting of Lee Oswald as he was being transferred from the basement of Dallas Police Headquarters en route to an armored car for the trip to Dallas County Jail. Eyewitnesses identify Ruby as the man who had the gun that was used to shoot Oswald. An officer named W.J. Harrison said he saw Ruby cross with the gun in his hand, cross over to Oswald, but he said he didn't react fast enough. He did knock the gun out of Ruby's hand and fell on top of him in the struggle to subdue Ruby. Ruby now is being questioned here at Dallas Police Headquarters, where they are assembling as many of the facts as they can. So, Oswald is in critical condition. A nightclub operator named Jack Ruby is being held for questioning Eyewitnesses identify him as the man who pulled the gun and shot Oswald. This is Tom Pettit, NBC News, at Dallas Police Headquarters.
There were some questions about the procedures that were undertaken on Mr. Oswald. An airway tube was inserted. Of course, blood tests were made. Blood transfusion was given. Fluids were administered. A chest tube and a catheter were inserted. And I am advised that there was no bleeding externally. It was all apparently internal on Mr. Oswald.
Where was he shot, sir?
Well, are you ready for the full statement?
Yes.
Okay. Dr. Tom Shires, Chief of Surgery at Parkland Memorial Hospital and Southwestern Medical School, advises me that Lee Oswald is currently undergoing surgery for a single gunshot wound that entered on his left side and did not exit. The patient is in extremely critical condition. Dr. Shires will make a personal statement when the surgery is completed.
Is this airway tube, this endotracheal tube they use for these cases?
That's right. I beg your pardon? Where is that, Pete? There were those who asked what emergency procedures were undertaken in the emergency room prior to the patient being taken to surgery. An airway tube was inserted into the patient. He was given blood and fluids. A chest tube was inserted and a catheter. There was no external bleeding. Any other questions? I'm sorry, I don't have the time. Pete, would you check the times for us?
The exact time Mr. Oswald arrived in the emergency room was 11:32 a.m. 11:32 a.m.
What time did he leave?
He was there 10 minutes, so that would make 42.
11:42 was approximately the time that he left the emergency room to the operating rooms of the hospital.
Thank you.
What operating room? I do not.
I beg your pardon?
Is his wife here?
I do not know. I do not know.
You know where the family is?
I do not know. I'm sorry.
Can you find out the operating room?
All right. Does anybody else need the statement now? Okay, I'll read the statement from the top if everybody's ready. All right.
Can we get this petition opened up?
Yes. Pete, open the petition, please. The partition.
What is your position, Doctor?
I'm not a doctor. I'm Steve Landrigan, Assistant Administrator of Parkland Hospital.
Right here.
And I wrote today with the board because I was running out of voice. Okay, is everybody ready?
Yeah.
Dr. Tom Shires, Chief of Surgery at Parkland Memorial Hospital and Southwestern Medical School, advises me that Lee Oswald is currently undergoing surgery for a single gunshot wound that entered on his left side and did not exit. The patient is in extremely critical condition. Dr. Shires will make a personal statement when the surgery is completed. Are there any questions?
How do you spell Shires?
Shires.
How long do you anticipate surgery to last?
Several hours.
John?
Any other questions?
How do they go from emergency to surgery?
He was taken by a special elevator directly from the emergency room to the surgical suite.
Well, Governor Connolly's in the same wing with him, right?
At the present time, that's
Are
correct.
they next door to each other?
No.
How many rooms down?
Well, I don't know exactly because I don't know the room, but there's a good distance separating them.
Still in recovery, Connolly?
That's correct.
Did you see Oswald when he came in, sir?
I did, sir.
What did he look like?
He was unconscious and was looked moribund. Although I am not a physician and it's difficult for me to describe. There was no external bleeding. It was obvious. Yes, I did.
What was the color of his features? Would you tell me that, sir?
It'd be difficult to describe. I would ashen, very pale, very pale. Gentlemen, if you will excuse me, I will attempt to get further information and come back down and give it to you. That is a statement that would have to be made by a physician. All right, go get it. Gentlemen, let me get another drink of water and I'll be right back.
Mr. Steve Landrigan, the assistant hospital administrator, says that he will have information from Dr. Tom Shires out of surgery momentarily on any change of condition of Lee Oswald, who was brought into this hospital at 11:32 in extremely critical condition. This is Charles Murphy in the press room of Parkland Hospital.
The slight possibility that this might happen, so we had alerted our emergency room just in case. And the first word that I got was standing in the corridor there, and I don't honestly remember. I don't remember who told me the president was being brought in, and I don't remember who told me that Mr. Oswald. I just moved.
Have his relatives been notified?
His brother is in the hospital at the present time.
More copies of original statement.
Thank you. We need the brother's first name, see if you get it.
Brother's first name. Okay. Mr. Landry, when you say that you had anticipated slightly, when you say you had anticipated,
Let me reword that. Our job is to be prepared. We had received word that there was a considerable crowd down there, and so we had just alerted the emergency room in case there was any type of disorder involving the transfer. I did not mean to imply that we had anticipated that there would be a shooting. Excuse me if I did.
You've described his condition as extremely critical. Has any arrangements been made for possible last rites?
I do not know that. I'm sorry.
Have you inquired about his religious affiliation?
This is a routine inquiry that is made down there. I do not have that information. I'll be glad to ask to find out as soon as I get someone here I can send for it. All right?
Thank you, sir. We've been talking.
Oh, all right. Will do.
Mr. Steve Landrigan, the assistant administrator, is going to repeat a statement from Dr. Tom Shires, who is in the operating room now
copies here
with
of Dr.
Mr.
Shire's statement,
Oswald.
the one I gave, if you'd like to have it.
Would you read this now
All right,
for us, please?
this is the same statement that I read earlier. This is the same statement. I'm repeating it for the benefit of those who did not hear it earlier. Dr. Tom Shires, Chief of Surgery at Parkland Memorial Hospital and Southwestern Medical School, advises me that Lee Oswald is currently undergoing surgery for a single gunshot wound that entered on his left side but did not exit. The patient is in extremely critical condition. Dr. Shires will make a personal statement when the surgery is completed.
When do you anticipate
It will be several hours.
Mr. Landrigan, did the hospital anticipate any incident with the transfer of Oswald down to the county jail this morning?
Mr. C.J. Price, who is our administrator, called me on the telephone and told me that in view of the fact that a crowd had gathered down there for the transfer, that we should alert the emergency room in case any type of disorder was involved in the transfer, and we would need our emergency facilities.
Did police inform him of the crowd, or how did he determine that the crowd was there? And that?
To my knowledge, this was based on his own intuition, which you learn to develop when you handle 300 emergency patients a day, as he does in the emergency room. I do not know that he was told by anyone. I don't believe so. I think that it was on the basis of information that he had heard on the radio that this was happening.
Did the hospital staff, the surgical staff, follow the developments in this case from the basement of the City Hall out here? Were they prepared to receive Oswald when he arrived?
We were notified after the shooting occurred. I'm sorry, I do not know how. I presume by the police dispatcher that ordinarily notifies us in this type of situation. And we were down in the emergency room when Mr. Oswald arrived. The administrative staff was down there, and of course the emergency room staff was there awaiting his arrival.
Thank you, Mr. Landrigan. Steve Landrigan, the assistant administrator of Parkland Hospital. A new statement now on the condition of Oswald.
Gentlemen, give us a minute to read the note here.
Mr. Landrigan has asked for a few moments to digest the new information which has just been brought in by an assistant. Some notes have been made. Some notes have been made. He's trying to digest them. He will make this statement for us. He can make it.
Dr. Tom Shires has sent word down that the patient, Mr. Oswald, has a massive injury to the abdomen with major vessel injury. Bleeding has been controlled. However, the patient developed a cardiac arrest and is now undergoing open chest cardiac massage. Let me elaborate. A cardiac arrest means a spontaneous stopping of the heart. The chest was then opened, and the surgeons are at the present time with their hands massaging the patient's heart to try to restore a normal heartbeat. I'll repeat that.
He's still alive.
He is.
Is he
He is still
considered?
alive. A cardiac arrest does not mean that the patient is dead at that moment. Many patients who undergo cardiac arrest are revived and make a normal recovery. Dr. Tom Shires has just sent word down that Mr. Oswald has undergone massive injury to his abdomen with major vessel injury. Bleeding has been controlled. However, the patient has developed a cardiac arrest and is now undergoing open chest cardiac massage. This means that the patient's heart stopped beating and the chest was open, and the patients are massaging the surgeons are massaging the patient's heart by hand in an attempt to restore a regular heartbeat.
But some rhythm of beating has been restored.
I do not know. The message that I got is that they were presently massaging the heart. I'm sure that we will be advised the minute that there's a further development.
Okay, Steve?
Yes.
I'm going back up there.
Yeah, go up there and let us know if...
Mr. Landrigan's assistant is leaving to go again to surgery to talk with Dr. Tom Shires. The patient, Oswald, is very near death. He was brought into the hospital in what has been described as a moribund condition. He is very near death at this moment. Dr. Shires says there has been a cardiac arrest. Technically, that is not death in the language of surgeons, but the heart did stop beating. Whether or not beating has been restored, we do not know. The chest has been opened, and massage is taking place in an effort to restore heartbeat or speed up heartbeat. Charles Murphy reporting from Parkland Hospital press room.
As much as they can send. I have been advised from surgery that Mr. Oswald is still alive and has been put on a pacemaker. Now let me explain what a pacemaker is. A pacemaker is an electronic instrument that sends electronic impulses through the heart, causing the heart muscles to react, and it sets the heart beats at the proper pace. That's why it's called a pacemaker. Are there any questions? This came in at about 1:12. Mr. Dutton just brought it into me, one of our administrative assistants.
Improvement or a
This represents an improvement in that the man is still alive and his heart had stopped, the last statement that had been
This
made.
means the open chest massage is at least temporarily successful.
Apparently so.
That's the story out of the surgical room now from Dr. Tom Shires. Lee Oswald is still considered among the living, but he is very, very close to death. Charles Murphy reporting from Parkland Hospital press room in Dallas.
Dr. Tom Shires, the chief of surgery at Parkland Memorial Hospital and Southwestern Medical School, is coming into the room now to make a statement on Mr. Oswald.
Dr. Shires has left the operating room, the operating table where Oswald is lying, to make this statement.
Speak up this time.
Might want to ask a question or what?
Could you talk a little louder, Doctor?
Is he alive, Doctor? No.
Let Dr. Shires make his statement, please.
When did he die, Doctor?
He died at 1:07 our time, 13:07, of his gunshot wound. Would you like to ask questions or what? Yeah, Mr. Oswald died at 1:07 our time in the operating room of the gunshot wound which he had received.
Would you describe his last moments on the operating table, please?
The last moments were rather hectic. He had a cardiac arrest from all the massive blood loss and massive injury. The last few minutes were spent in cardiac resuscitation, open heart massage, electrical defibrillation, internal defibrillation, and finally there were absolutely no signs of life at all, fixed dilated pupils and all the signs of death.
How many surgeons were working on him at the time?
There were 4 actually operating scrubbed at the same time, besides the others.
How long was he ever cardiac arrest did he die?
I don't really know. I imagine 20 or 30 minutes.
Did he ever talk to you or say anything?
No, he never regained consciousness at all. In fact, before surgery, we had no blood pressure, a few agonal respiratory efforts, and that was all. During the operation, once we got control of the major vessels, the aorta, the vena cava, the kidney injury, we had a blood pressure for a time, but then we had the cardiac arrest, which was obviously incident to massive blood loss, the anoxia that had occurred. This was again a fatal wound that he received.
Was there ever any chance for him to recover?
Well, there's always a chance as long as you have signs of life, and we had at least a heartbeat preoperatively, so there was a slight chance. So we.
What was your impression when you first saw him, though? Did you have any hope on your first impression for recovery?
Not much, although again, there's always a chance. The course of the bullet wound through the upper abdomen was such one could feel the bullet under the skin on the right side, the entrance wound in the upper abdomen on the left side. We guessed that he had injured all the major vessels in the between space, and sure enough he had. What organs? From left to right, this went through the spleen, then into the pancreas, then the aorta, the vena cava, the right kidney, right lobe of the liver, out into the subcutaneous area. Just transection.
Was the bullet
under the skin, just under the skin.
Under the skin on the right side.
On the right side. Spleen, aorta, vena cava, pancreas, kidney, liver, chest wall.
Dr. Shires, do you know what caliber bullet it would have been?
Yeah, it looked like a .38 caliber bullet. We removed the bullet at the end.
After death, you removed the bullet?
Well, yes.
It looked like what, sir?
.38 caliber. Just guessing.
You didn't have blood pressure before surgery?
No, no blood pressure at all.
Did you say that he did have damage on investigating? You did find damage in all those organs?
Every one of them.
What was the immediate cause of death?
The gunshot wound. The final cause of death was massive injury with massive blood loss and then cardiac arrest.
Doctor, would you say that Oswald might have had a weak heart to begin with?
No way of telling. It actually did not appear to be damaged previously. When we did the cardiac massage, the problem was a flabby heart, which was indicative of massive blood loss and anoxia, which he sustained from the time of the injury.
From your observation, what would you say was his general condition besides the gunshot wound? In other words, was he physically a well man?
On brief inspection in the emergency room, apparently so.
Who did the massage?
All of the operating surgeons. I did, Dr. Perry, Dr. McClellan, Dr.
Who are the
Jones.
operating surgeons?
Dr. Perry, Dr. McClellan, Dr. Jones. There were 3 others besides me.
They just happened to be in the building at the time?
We were all in the building.
Did you first inform his relatives of the death before you came here?
No, I came right here from the operating room, escorted from the operating room.
Doctor, those in the operating room, were any of those same people present at the time of the president's death?
Yes, as you know, Dr. Perry did the tracheotomy on President Kennedy. That's right.
Dr. Shires, did you have a pacemaker on him at the time he died? How long did you keep it going after he died?
Until there were absolutely no signs of life. How long that was, I don't know. Several minutes.
Defibrillator still on him?
Defibrillator was used several times,
You
yes.
had determined death was at about 1:07 p.m.
That's right, 107.
What, Dr. Shires, I would like to ask Dr. Shires to dictate a short statement to our secretaries, which we will reproduce and get into your hands so that everybody can have these details, if that's agreeable with you, Dr. Shires. Would you like to do that? Now.
Well, that's the story from Parkland Hospital. Press room set up 75 to 85 feet and one flight down from the surgical section where Lee Oswald has just died. He died 48 hours, almost to the minute, after the death of President Kennedy, the man he is accused of assassinating. And one of this final development, Lee Oswald has died, a fantastic new development in one of the most fantastic stories in American history.
It was right here in the basement garage of the Dallas Police Headquarters that the latest in an almost incredible series of events in Dallas took place at 11:26 this morning. That was when 24-year-old Lee Oswald was shot and killed right at this spot. It happened this way. Oswald was due to be brought out from the jail where he had been held. He was to be transferred by armored car to the Dallas County Jail, a distance of a little more than a mile from here. Elaborate security precautions had been taken. A number of vehicles in this garage had been searched throughout the garage. Police officers with riot guns. Police officers were in the building and outside the building with riot guns. Now, it was just before 11:26 when Oswald, in fact, did come out. The television cameras were where they are now. The reporters were lined up across this driveway from me. Some of them were farther up the corridor. The armored car had been backed down this ramp about as far as it would come, about halfway down. At that moment, a squad car backed up almost into this position, and Oswald was standing then where I am standing now. The shot rang out. To be honest, I did not see the man fire the shot, though I was standing only 5 or 6 feet away. But those who did tell me it happened this way. The man apparently was with the reporters over here. How he got here is not quite clear. But he apparently walked right across like this, pulled the gun, pulled the trigger right up against Oswald, wrapped his arms around himself, fell to the ground, and said, "Oh, at least we think that's what happened." Tonight, Ruby is held upstairs in jail without bond. And irony is a word virtually without meaning tonight in Dallas. Lee Oswald is dead. He died at Parkland Hospital 48 hours and 7 minutes after President Kennedy died in the same hospital. It was Oswald who was the accused killer of President Kennedy. And Jack Ruby is held upstairs in jail, the same place where Lee Oswald had been held until he was killed here today. Tom Pettit, NBC News, reporting from Dallas Police Headquarters.